Ria works as a salesperson in a company. Ria was responsible for closing a significant deal with Akash's company. For this, Ria started doing a little research about Akash. What are the things Akash is interested in? His hobbies, and most importantly, which qualities do he consider most valuable in a business partner? After collecting all this information, Ria represented Akash's interests and values through her conversation in the business meeting. Apart from this, she communicated well with Akash through her body language and friendly and non-verbal communication in the meeting. Ria listened carefully to everything Akash said, asked him the right questions, and explained all the objections based on facts and figures that Akash had. She made Akash understand why and how Ria's company will be beneficial for Akash's company. This adds value because Akash started feeling a strong connection and trusting relationship with Ria at the end of this meeting. The matter did not end here. After this, Ria followed up with Akash after a few days and arranged the meeting again. This way, by using the power of seduction, creating trust in Akash's mind, Akash closed the deal with Ria's company. This story shows us how you can easily influence people using the power of seduction. As soon as we hear the word seduction, a negative image comes to our mind. But in reality, the simple meaning of seduction is to attract. By attracting and winning someone's heart or trust, you get them to do something they might not otherwise do. Therefore, it is not true that seduction skills are valuable only in romantic relationships. They also play a significant role in different professional interactions and advertising. A knife is a tool that a criminal can use to fulfill some evil intention. But a doctor can also use the same knife to save a person's life. Similarly, seduction is also a tool. It depends on the intention of the person using it, whether he will use this seduction tool positively or negatively. Many seduction techniques are described in the book. I will explain some of those essential techniques through real-life stories, and how those people use them to influence others to do their work. The video will be exciting and informative, so watch the complete video. If you still not subscribed to our channel, before you get lost in the video, subscribe to the channel immediately and like the video immediately. Our channel is one of the best summary channels on YouTube. Our videos can sometimes be extended, because we always strive for the quality of the book and content. So it is essential to watch the video till the end. If you like this video, remember to share it with all people in need. Who knows, their lives will change after watching it. So let's get started. Seduction Technique 1. Pay attention to detail. In December 1898, in China, wives of ambassadors from 7 Western countries, such as the United States and Europe, received an invitation from Empress Tsu of Beijing to host a dinner in their honor. The ambassadors did not like that queen, and because of her deception, everyone told their wives that it was better to beware of her and not to go. But it was a royal invitation, so all the wives did not like to refuse. The ambassadors did not like the empress because, by the 1890s, Western powers had begun to occupy parts of China. Western countries considered China a backward country, and wanted China to modernize. But the empress had conservative thinking, and did not like Western culture. Immediately before that empress, the emperor of China, Guangxu, also the empress's nephew, had started adopting Western cultures. The news was sent from Chinese officials to Western ambassadors that the emperor was ill. So the empress took power into her hands. The ambassadors of Western countries understood that the queen was being dishonest, which was being done to boycott Western things. And because the emperor was adopting Western methods, he may have been imprisoned or poisoned to death. If this were true, then China's relations with Western countries would have deteriorated, because it was indirectly refusing to accept their products. If this had happened, China's business would have been greatly affected, and Western countries could have unitedly attacked China. However, the truth was that the emperor was imprisoned, and the queen, by playing the game of seduction, fulfilled her purpose of boycotting Western things and maintaining good relations with Western countries. Let us know how the queen did this. On the day of the dinner, courtiers dressed in glittering dresses, brought all the women from the embassy house to the court in palanquin chairs. The senior members of the royal family and the princes and princesses welcomed them in the audience hall. Chinese women were employed to serve the guests wearing Chinese cultural dress and jewelry. Tea was served to all the wives in delicate porcelain cups after drinking tea. They were taken to meet the queen. The queen sat on the dragon throne, studded with precious gems. The queen wore heavy brocade, a magnificent headdress adorned with diamonds and pearls, and a large pearl necklace that matched the dress perfectly. She smiled at the women with great excitement and sincerity. Her nephew, the emperor, was seated on a small throne below to console the women. He looked nervous, but he also excitedly welcomed them and asked them to enjoy the dinner. He behaved in a way that made it seem like he was truly sick. The queen shook hands with every woman. When she shook hands with everyone, a servant put a large gold ring studded with precious diamonds and pearls on each woman's hand. After this, the wives were taken to another room, where they ate and drank tea, and then led them to a dinner hall, where the queen was now sitting on a chair in yellow royal color. At the end of the discussion, the queen again held each woman's hands and said very emotionally, "We are all one family." After this, the women watched a Chinese drama in the royal theater. After watching, everyone had tea again. This time, the queen stepped forward, took everyone's cup to her lips, and took a sip, saying, "We are all one family." After dinner, the women were given expensive gifts and taken back in the same palanquin. All the wives came and told their husbands that the queen was not as they thought. She is of a charming and friendly nature. Looking at her, it didn't seem like she could be a fraud. She appeared very pure at heart. In this way, all the women gave similar positive feedback about Greene as they had experienced. All husbands' ambassadors reported to their governments on the basis that the emperor was well and the queen could be trusted. They did not know what was happening in the royal court. The emperor had conspired to arrest and assassinate his aunt, now the queen, because she was refusing to adopt new methods and was influencing others. Upon discovering the plot, his aunt joined with other members of the royal family to force the emperor to resign his title as king, imprison him, and reveal to the outside world that he was ill. He had to come to official state events as punishment and behave as if nothing had happened. The queen hated Westerners and considered them terrorists. She did not like the Western fashion and style of the ambassadors' wives. This dinner party was a show of seduction to please those Western countries that were threatening to attack China if the emperor died. The goal of these shows was clear: to blind the wives with colors, drama, and gifts so they would ignore reality. For this, the queen had planned everything so well, from the color and design of the caps to the drama and gifts of those, that the wives could not understand that this was a trick of the queen. Everyone was happy with this treatment of the queen and agreed to maintain good relations with the Chinese Empire under the queen's power. This way distracts people's attention and fills their eyes, ears and senses with small, fun events and colorful things. Do things so well in detail that the other person feels that this is happening for his good. You cannot have any motive behind it. As humans, we experience small things very well. Therefore, do as many small attractive things as possible, like jewelry, beautiful decorations, clothes, colors, etc. Our weakness is focusing on small details rather than the big picture. The more senses you attract, the greater will be the influence. The things you use in seduction, like gifts or clothes, speak their powerful language. Therefore, pay attention to all details. Make a spectacle of them, no one will know how manipulative you are. Seduction technique 2, keep them in suspense. A child is generally very stubborn. He will do the opposite of what we tell him. But there is one way children happily give up their stubbornness: by promising them a surprise. This can be anything, like after doing this work, they will get a secret gift. You will play an excellent game with them. You will take them to a different place. For this, tell your things in such a way that the end remains suspenseful. If you keep them in suspense and expect something good, they will stay under control. This childish habit is deeply buried within us, and has become our nature. When we watch a movie, or read a thriller, they use this suspense well to grab our attention. The author makes the book. And the director makes the film so suspenseful that we happily keep turning the pages of the book and remain in our seats to watch the movie. When a girl loves someone, she is ready to leave the security of her present life to live the suspenseful moments of happiness in the future. Because of the suspense, she hopes we will go in a new direction and a new life, where everything will be excellent. But if both partners already know everything, will there be that much attraction to leave their present security and go into a new relationship? No. A king named Shahrazad has relations with a girl in his camp every night, and then kills her the following day. When a girl came to know about this, she started telling such a story to the king, which could be completed only the next day. She kept doing this every night, which marked the king in constant suspense and excitement to hear the whole story the next day. When one story ends, the girl immediately starts another. She continued doing this for about 3 years, bringing the king closer to her love. Being close to her for so long, the king fell in love with her, and decided to spare her life by making her his wife. We are all like Shahrazad, without new stories and the feeling of seeing something new, our attraction to something disappears. Therefore, your target person should never know what will happen next. This way, like King Shahrazad, they will remain under your control if you keep them guessing. In 1765, Italy's famous lover Casanova met a young Italian girl named Clementina, who lived in a house with her 2 sisters. Clementina loved reading, so she often read books in the library. But she had no interest in the boys hanging around her. Casanova wanted to love her. So, first of all, to make herself look like Clementina, he bought the kind of books and started listening to the type of lectures she liked, even though Clementina was uninterested in him. This became a good friendship. One day, Casanova invited Clementina's entire family on a short day trip. But they needed to find out where they were going. When the 3 sisters boarded the horse-drawn carriage, they kept trying to guess their destination the entire way. After a few hours, they reached their destination. This place was one of the girl's favorite places, and she became happy as soon as she got it. Casanova took them to his apartment, where there were 3 of the most beautiful dresses the girls had ever seen. Casanova told them there was one for each of them. And because he knew that Clementina liked green, he kept green for Clementina. Clementina wore it with excitement, and her face lit up. Similarly, he arranged such food dishes that Clementina liked. Clementina was so excited by this surprise that, by the time they returned home in the evening, Clementina had fallen deeply in love with Casanova. The reason was simple: it created suspense. Suspense brings a moment when people's feelings of security are reduced, and the desire to experience new moments begins to arise. A few months after arriving in Paris in 1926, France's famous dancer, Josephine Baker, thoroughly impressed the French public with her new wild dance steps. But after less than a year, she felt that people's interest in her had started decreasing. Josephine left Paris to regain public attention, and returned a year later, this time with a wholly changed dancing style. Now, she acted and danced like a traditional French lady. Suddenly changed dancing style greatly influenced people, and she started gaining popularity again. This way, the suspense gives a seductive shock and hides your cunning. Suddenly, when you do or say something that no one expected, people do not have time to understand that your step was well thought out. Whatever happens suddenly seems natural, and whatever appears natural has an attraction. Seduction Technique 3: Isolate the victim. Seeing people with their loved ones and how powerful you think they are is an illusion. People are more fragile inside than you think. What makes them strong are their friends, family, and their daily routine, which gives them a constant feeling of security and control. Suddenly, pull that foundation out from under them. Leave them alone in an unknown place or routine, where their familiar things and people are gone, or scattered, and you will see them as very different people. If you can separate them from their security net, even the most influential people can be made insecure and get their work done. For this, keep your target away from their friends and family. Separate them from the world they are familiar with. Take them to a place they do not know. And allow them to spend time in the environment you want them to be in. Motivate for this. Deliberately spoil their habits. And make them do things they have never done. This will make them emotionally weak, making it easier to mislead them. Along with this, show your things as a good experience, which will make them feel good. Due to this, your target person will one day move away from all those things that generally make him feel comfortable. And now, if they have any problem, they will turn to you for help. Like a child cries out for his mother when the lights are switched off. Now, get them to do whatever you want. I was listening to Shakespeare's novel The Tragedy of King Richard III a few days ago. Something similar happens in that also. Richard, the commander of that kingdom, falls in love with the king's wife. But the wife was not ready to leave her king husband and live with him. So, the commander makes a move. He gets King Henry and his son, Prince Edward, killed. Because of this action, the lady starts hating him very much. Soon after, he pretends to attack Prince Edward's widowed wife. But after approaching her, he tries to seduce her into his love. He tells the lady that whatever he did it to get her. He said, "I wanted you to have no one in your life except me. And my feelings for you were so strong that I had to kill them." Of course, Lady Anne did not like this thing of his, she also hated him. But the commander had cut off the security net of that lady's life by killing her husband and son in such a way that Anne had become very lonely and insecure. And in this moment of insecurity, the commander reassured him of supporting him from the front. After a few days, the commander's words started affecting her, and they married. When using this seduction technique, remember that the good moments of your target person's past may hinder their present behavior. The people they left behind will also try to keep them connected to old things. Due to this, they will give more importance to the people and things of their past and may not get misled by you. Therefore, keep them from reaching this point, divert their attention from the past and focus on the present. If necessary, use subtle insults about past favorite things related to their life. So they do not know your intention, but your work gets done. Make them feel the old pain, which shows them how much better the present is. The more you can separate them from their past, the more loyal and in control they will be with you in the present. Like all revolutionary people usually do. When new people joined Gandhiji's freedom fighter group, Gandhiji motivated people to break ties with their past, family and friends, who were not ready to fight and sacrifice for freedom. Every religion demands similar sacrifices from its followers, so that the followers remain under their control. Apart from this, political leaders use this seduction technique very well to get their work done. Political leaders create and increase the feeling of isolation among people because of their past situation. America's 35th president, John F. Kennedy, did this very effectively. When he won the 34th U.S. describing the shortcomings of President Eisenhower's time, he said that his bad policies in the 1950s gave courage to a country like Japan to attack American ships. And now, we must embrace the new frontier. America will move forward by increasing its security and strength. These words of his influenced young people a lot. And they became supporters of Kennedy. The result was that Kennedy won the next presidential election. Seduction Technique 4, Prove Yourself. Napoleon's sister, Pauline Bonaparte, had many relationships with different men in her youth. She never lived with a boy for more than a few weeks. In 1803, Napoleon arranged her marriage to Camillo, a prince of his empire. The marriage would occur the following year. Even after getting a partner, her habit did not change, it increased even more. Because Pauline felt that the prince keeps many women to fulfill his sexual desires. Then I, too, should fulfill my desires with different men. Prince Camillo was not only a handsome prince but also an intelligent commander. So he found a way to correct this habit of Pauline. In those days, Pauline had a lot of toothache. So the royal dentists went to Pauline for treatment. And the dentists noticed that a tooth was damaged and would have to be removed immediately. As soon as the doctor started taking out his tools to remove the tooth, Pauline got scared and refused to get the tooth removed. Prince Camillo was relaxing on a sofa nearby. Prince Camillo got up, went to the dentist, and ordered a tooth to be extracted from the back of his mouth. The dentist removed a tooth from his mouth. After this, not only did Pauline let the dentist do his work, but her opinion about the prince changed, as no man had ever done anything like that for her. Similarly, to improve this habit of Pauline, the prince kept proving through such small things for the next few months that he loved Pauline, not her body like other men. One day, on Napoleon's orders, Camillo was sent on a mission to the area of Spain under Pauline's control. So he found a way to correct this habit of Pauline. Riding day and night, without eating or sleeping, he reached a place where the enemy could attack in a few days. There, he fought bravely, advanced, and captured the enemy territory. He then briefly returned and met Pauline, as Napoleon immediately sent him back to Spain for another mission. This time, it took several months before he was allowed to return. But when he returned, Pauline immediately fell in love with him. Camillo was surprised by Pauline's loyalty to him. The girl changing weekly to a new boy, she had been waiting for him for months. Pauline Bonaparte was used to using boys for fun, and knew very well that she was being used in return. No matter how a person looks from the outside, everyone wants someone from the inside who loves them wholeheartedly. Pauline's concern was that none of her boyfriends had ever truly loved her. And, in reality, they only wanted sex or political benefits from her. But when Camillo showed through his actions how much he was sacrificing for her, getting his teeth pulled, and risking his career and life for the security of her kingdom, he transformed a selfish girl into a committed girlfriend. So remember that the sacrifice you are making should be visible. Talk about them and tell them that, just like you, they have to pay a price to get you. Seduction Technique 5. Mix pleasure with pain. Don't tell people what you think about them. Make them feel good, smile at their jokes, and be interested in their problems. Along with this, make them feel the pain, so that they can keep in your control. Although in seduction, by making the other person feel good, initially, the target person will be attracted to you and feel comfortable with you. But this feeling soon loses its influence. Being too nice can push the target away from you. To get people to complete their work, it is also necessary to arouse the feeling of stress in them. Talk to your target or show them such things. That make them tense, so that an emotional climax starts happening inside them. And they become so emotionally weak that they do not overthink to agree with your point. When you do this, you will have options with which you can create pain in the other person, and also free them from that pain. This will increase your seduction powers tenfold. In today's world, we are often hungry for experiences. We want to feel different backgrounds, even if they are negative. Therefore, the pain you cause to your target person makes them stronger from within to become your slave. They have nothing to complain about. They are simply forced to play the role of a victim. And now, they will forgive you quickly once you convert the pain into pleasure. This provokes their jealousy and makes them feel insecure. And later, when you satisfy their ego by giving them preference over their competitors, they will find this feeling amusing. Remember, the more you emotionally stir people up, the more they will become disturbed and under your control. In 1818, French author Stendhal met a beautiful girl named Matilda. For him, it was love at first sight. That girl was a bit self-centered and a tough lady, but she used to give lines to Stendhal, so he would remain interested in her. This behavior of the lady made Stendhal insecure that she might refuse or leave him, so he avoided doing anything that might upset her. When several days passed like this, the author could not bear the distance, and one day, he expressed his love by holding her hand. Although Matilda also loved him, to keep Stendhal under her control, she met him but ignored him a bit. Apart from missing her, she kept giving him lines. But she only talked to him for a few days this time. Stendhal then wrote several letters to Matilda and asked her to forgive him. Finally, she agreed and said that she would meet again, but on one condition: that she could come to meet only once every 2 weeks, not for more than an hour. And would meet only in a public place. Stendhal agreed without thinking because he had no option. Now, they hoped to see her every 2 weeks. But there was also the fear that she might change her mind. And leave him forever. This continued for over 2 years. During which Stendhal did a lot for Matilda. But Matilda treated him as a victim and never showed him any favors. Stendhal never knew whether Matilda loved or wanted to leave him. He only knew that his love for Matilda was growing stronger. Which Matilda was taking advantage of to get him to do whatever she wanted. In one of his books, he tells this real-life story that, first of all, if you are afraid of your loving partner going away, you can never be very close to him. In such a situation, a secret love feeling remains inside you for them, making the love stronger. Second, the closer your partner brings you to the edge of the relationship, the more they make you feel like they could leave you. And the more you fall in love with them. You can use this other aspect of human nature for seduction. Make sure your target person becomes not more comfortable with you than necessary. Let them feel fear and anxiety. Show some love occasionally and glimpses of anger in ways they weren't expecting. Along with loving, sometimes let them feel they have lost you forever. Let them live with these feelings for a while. Then pull them back out of that ditch like your love. You will find them more committed towards you. And at this time, they will easily be ready to do whatever you say. So friends, this was the book summary of Art of Seduction. Let us repeat those key points what we have learned so far from this book, so that it can be remembered easily. Pay attention to small things to attract people towards you. Give them a chance to feel as many of their senses as possible. This will hide your objective. And this attractive environment will silently influence people to do what you want. Suspense hides your cleverness. Suddenly, when you do or say something that no one expected, people do not have time to understand that your step was well thought out. Whatever happens suddenly seems natural. And whatever appears natural has an attraction. So people will start getting attracted to what you say. Keep your target away from their friends and family. Separate them from the world they are familiar with. Take them to places they do not know. And motivate them to spend time in the environment of your choice. Deliberately spoil their habits. And make them do things they have never done. This will make them emotionally weak, making it easier to mislead them. Show the other person the sacrifices you are making to get them to adopt the habits you want. Talk about them and tell them that when you are doing so much for them, they too will have to pay the price, just like you, to get you. Show some love occasionally. And glimpses of anger in ways they weren't expecting. From time to time, with love, let them feel that they have lost you forever. Let them live with these feelings for a while. Then pull them back from this insecurity like your love. With this, you will find them more committed to you. And at this time, they will easily be ready to do whatever you say. Thank you friends, I hope you liked this video. If there is any point that was very amazing for you, which you think is wonderful, so please let us know by commenting. See you soon with more great videos. Thank you so much.